songs can fly on the airwaves. They just need a chance to start. The songs can grow and hope and faith and fly from heart to heart.
Did you know Purple Songs Can Fly? Welcome to our program, produced by the Children in Treatment at the Texas Children's Cancer and Hematology Centers. Our program is about great music made by some terrific young talents. Now, here are the hosts of Purple Songs Can Fly.
Hello and welcome to Purple Songs Can Fly on the Voice America Kids Network. I'm Zachary Tavlin.
I'm Emily Freeman.
And I'm Dominic.
And today we're going to be talking with music therapist Catherine Taylor and founder of Purple Songs Can Fly, Anita Kruse, about their work, similarities, differences, and kind of maybe how it intersects with each other. So welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for showing up to talk to us today. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, welcome.
So let's start off. Let's kind of give the audience a little bit about who you guys are and what you guys do. So let's start with you. What do you do, Catherine? And you know, where do you come from? What do you do?
Well, I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and then I moved down to New Orleans to study music therapy and made my way to Texas to get certified in it, do my internship and get certified. And now I practice music therapy at a place called the Monarch School or the Monarch Institute because we've grown. So yeah, I get to work with people between the ages of 3 to 30 in their 30s, using music every day to work on non-musical goal areas like self-regulation and relationship development and executive functions and competence in academics and
yes, musical is very powerful. That's
no kidding.
What you can do with it.
No kidding.
And you, Miss Anita? Who are you? What do you do?
I am originally a pianist, and I started writing music when I was in college, in graduate school actually. And I taught piano and songwriting and composing for many years. And then I had this idea to have a recording studio here in the Cancer Center and work with children who are being treated to write and record their own songs, as you know, Zachary.
I do know. Yes.
Yes.
But the audience does not know.
So I founded this organization in 2006, 8 years ago, and we've written over 600 songs and recorded them, and they have flown all over the world and on 2 space shuttle missions, and they've summited Mount Everest, and they've flown with the Rolling Stones, and they've been on an undersea mission, and amazing things have happened. We went to Carnegie Hall last year.
Oh, wow.
We did. That was very fun.
With you, Zachary, and
legit.
you, Emily. And we've just had some amazing experiences with Purple Songs, and so that's what I do.
And what a list that is.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit curious. I know you guys had known each other at least a little bit before this interview. How'd you guys meet?
We met. Let's see if our memories are aligning.
This is the joy of a 2-person interview. The difference is...
Begin. I think we met when I was here at the Cancer Center as a consultant and an artist with young audiences of Houston. And I was here with to do some inpatient work, doing music therapy work, either songwriting or improvisation or whatever was called for in the moment. And I was drooling over the recording studio that I saw here, and just the energy of the space was so beautiful. And then Anita comes out, and the energy of the space becomes even more beautiful and compelling. And I immediately was like, "Take my card!" And she was a hugger, and I get so excited when I meet people who are huggers. Oh yeah. Is that accurate?
Let's see if it matches up.
It's accurate. And I was so excited. I went to see you not too long after that. I think I went to see you perform.
Yeah, over at Music Box.
Yeah, and just I call Catherine K-Tay, so I'm going to call you K-Tay probably through this whole interview. But K-Tay is an incredible performer, beautiful, beautiful singer, actress, and
Thanks.
so I've just admired you. I've admired you for a long time.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a mutual admiration here. There's a lot of love in this room.
And see, I know this, but you guys are both performers as well. I know that you do stage and you do various music, songwriting, singing opportunities. So let's talk a little bit about that. Well, what do you do, kind of extra career-wise?
Right. Yes. In my second career, I perform musical comedy cabaret, and I work with. There are 5 of us in this company, and we write original pieces to include songs from the Great American Songbook standards all the way up through really current stuff that we kind of twist and turn to make it our own. And then we write sketches to tie all of the music together in a really quirky and fun way. And then prior to that, I was doing just straight up Broadway musical type stuff with a few companies here in town, which I've been doing the theater work since I was in junior high and was hooked on it ever since.
I'm actually kind of curious. What does musical comedy cabaret look like? Like to someone that has no idea what.
Usually,
what's the
it depends on who you ask, but I think it looks a little chaotic most of the time. The comedy of errors sometimes. It's fun. I think the best part about it is that it's real and it's authentic in the sense that all of the things that don't necessarily go perfectly are the things that make it so fun and allow us to connect with the audience. So I like it because the fourth wall is down. We're able to interact with the audience and kind of use what they give us to help the show take twists and turns.
Okay. So it's a little bit
lots
kind
of laughter, mostly singing.
It's a little bit reactive to what the audience is getting.
Yeah, depending on what the audience is giving us. So sometimes we have the smilers and sometimes we have the loud ones, and it's fun to be able to have to adapt to whatever the energy in the room is like.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about you, Miss Anita? What do you do outside of Purple Suns Can Fly? the various things.
Well, I'm involved with an organization called Music Doing Good, and I'm an artist with that organization. So we do concerts, and that's what I do, performance-wise.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So the work that you both do is incredibly, they make big impacts. How has the public responded to this? Have you received any awards or recognitions for the great work that you do?
Wow.
Okay, so I think music therapy as a whole has become more widely recognized. Like we've been in the news quite a bit, especially for things like high-profile use of music therapy, like in the rehabilitation of Gabby Giffords when she came to Houston. For me personally, my favorite award that I've ever gotten was actually received from a student that I worked with who was graduating from the Monarch School, and it's called the Above and Beyond Award. And every graduate gets to give an award to a teacher that's helped them.
Oh, wow.
And that was one of the most humbling experiences ever, and totally unexpected, which is one of my favorite parts about that. So yeah, that's something I got a little pin and a little certificate, and just wow, what a bright light in my career.
I would totally lose it if that happened. Like someone came to me and was like, "You've made the biggest impact in my goodness gracious."
Right? Yeah. I think it's unusual for me to be able to receive that kind of validation for something
Right.
that I do.
Receiving it from someone that you helped out instead of someone above you.
To realize how meaningful it is.
How sweet.
And I also want to hear a little bit from Miss Anita about her awards and such after we get back from the break. So this song we're going to play is written by Candace when she was 14, and it is called For These Dreams. You're listening to Purple Sounds Can Fly on the Voice America Kids Network.
In these clouds I can see the sun trying to break through. So I breathe in your love for a reassuring place to say. For these songs I'll sing for you, to know how I feel and to show you. For these dreams I believe are real.
Welcome back to Purple Songs Can Fly on the Voice America Kids Network. I am Zack Tavlin.
And I am Emily Freeman.
And I'm Dominic Dybala.
And we're going to continue with our conversation about the lives and careers of Miss Catherine Taylor and Anita Kruse. So, welcome back. We ended on a cliffhanger. The awards,
Yes.
accolades, and recognitions
Yes.
of Miss Kruse.
Oh, heavens. Well, I would say that my most recent honor that had to do with Purple Songs was a couple of years ago, and there's a university in St. Louis called Maryville University,
Okay.
and they have a very large music therapy program, and they saw a story about Purple Songs that was in the New York Times, and they decided they wanted to create something that would be connected to their music therapy program at Maryville University. And so they came here and kind of observed what we did here, and they created a program called Kids Rock Cancer. And so they serve all of the children's hospitals in St. Louis, and they have their music therapists work with the children bedside, specifically to write and record their own songs. And so they ended up having me come and speak when they launched the program, and I think the president of the university was there at that event, and I really only talked for 10 minutes. But the following year, they invited me to speak at their commencement address.
That's big.
And so, yeah, that was a shocker. And so I did. I spoke at their commencement address, and they gave me an honorary doctorate. So yeah,
That is
that's
big.
been kind of neat.
Thank you, Dr. Kruse. That's a great honor.
You'll be calling me that from now on.
Yeah.
Of course. I'd like to apologize for any dropping of your title
With all due
before this
respect.
point. Yeah.
That's on the air.
And so I kind of want to talk a little bit with you guys about what kind of drew you guys to the careers you have respectively chosen. You know, was there something that in you that really made you, seek out, working with children with cancer, writing songs, or working as a music therapist?
Maybe some event or particular person that inspired you to bring you where you are now.
Yeah, mine was kind of a process of elimination, to be totally honest. I knew I wanted to work in music.
Right.
I enjoy performing, and I knew I wanted that to be an element of my adult life. But I also knew that it didn't necessarily bring out the best in me, like the cutthroat competition that could come with things like auditioning. And I thought, ooh, this is making me pretty selfish. Okay, let's figure something else out. I had also sung in enough choirs to know that I didn't want to be a choral director, because in my high school choir, I noticed that my choral director was often having to shout over us to be quiet so we could start. And I thought, oh, that won't be a fun use of my instrument. So then I kind of stumbled upon music therapy, and the more I learned about it, the more I wanted to give it a go. And then as I went through the degree program, I had my ups and downs with it, but ultimately was able to refine myself and the direction I took with it.
Wow, beautiful.
That is a really
Thank
cool
you.
story.
Yes.
And
Am I next?
Yeah, you are.
Next, you must have something.
So how did you kind of arrive where you are today?
Golly. Well, I think I had many influences through my life that led me to create this studio. It's only been in retrospect that it's become really clear to me, because it wasn't that I had a sibling who had cancer, but I have a sibling who's mentally ill. And I think growing up, I always wanted to be able to do something that would help, and I could never figure out what that was.
Right.
And so I thought, if I could do something that I know would help someone, that somehow it would somehow take care of this overwhelming desire to help my brother. And so that really is, I think, probably the most influential drive in my wanting to help other people through music. And ironically, just this last year, a hospital near St. Louis, it turns out, wrote to me, and it's a psychiatric hospital, and they had heard about Purple Songs, and they have created a studio at the hospital and now work with the patients like my brother. And so, you know, it's been interesting to see how something that I created, thinking that I couldn't help that population, is now, there's just so much more understanding and so much more education around music therapy. Not that I'm a music therapist, but this idea that there is help. So that's the truth.
Wow, what a moving story.
Yeah.
Have you been able to reach out to your brother through this, or kind of try to help him musically?
Well, when we get together, he was a very, very talented pianist growing up, so he still plays. He still remembers all of the pieces that he played when he was young, and I would say that's when I see him play, that's probably the most vibrant that he is. So I know that music definitely plays a part in his life. So yeah,
that's great. I'm glad music can really reach out to him that way.
Yes. We're gonna end this segment by a song by Megan, Pearl Inside, and she was 14 when she wrote it.
I've known Shannon since 4th grade. We've done lots of girl stuff together. She helps me go inside myself. I know we'll be best friends forever. She's like a sister. She's like my ocean. When things get rough, she's the water that lifts me up. She's like a sister in whom I confide. She's the oyster that protects me. I'm a pearl inside. She visits me in the hospital and raise money for my bills. She asks me questions about the doctor and calls to see how I feel. She's like a sister. She's like my ocean. When things get rough, she's the water that lifts me up. She's like a sister in whom I confide. She's the oyster that protects me. I'm a pearl inside. She helps me deal with my problems, to talk through how I feel. Whenever I am sad or scared, she's there, waiting to help me heal. She's like a sister. She's like my ocean. When things get rough, she's the water that lifts me up. She's like a sister in whom I confide. She's the oyster that protects me. I'm the pearl inside. She's like a sister. She's like my ocean. When things get rough, she's the water that lifts me up. She's like a sister in whom I confide. She's the oyster that protects me. I'm the pearl inside.
Hello and welcome back to Purple Songs Can Fly on the Voice America Kids Network. I am Zachary Tavlin.
And I'm Emily Freeman.
And I'm Dominic
And we're going to continue with our conversation about kind of careers, lives, music with Dr. Anita Kruse and Ms. Catherine Taylor. So welcome back.
Thank you.
So I kind of wanted to know a little bit kind of what a day in the life of a music therapist or a day in the life of a songwriter, singer kind of looks like. So let's just start with you, Catherine. Kind of guide us through a day, maybe at the Monarch Institute or through music therapy.
Yeah, well, like I said, I work with people ranging in age from 3 to in their 30s. So I do try to schedule my clients so that I'm having to mentally shift a little bit less, because I'm constantly having to, regulate and modulate my thoughts and my energy to be with somebody. So, for instance, on Tuesdays we have this really cool program. We have musicians from DeCamera of Houston, which is a professional music organization here in Houston. They come work with 3 of my groups that I lead, of Challenger and Voyager level students. So, if we were to think developmentally, like high school, middle school, high school, and then young adults. And we do everything from improvising songs to, I have a group that's working on writing a song in Spanish, because one of the guys is from Guatemala. And so it's really cool. It's a symbiotic relationship where we get to learn a little more Spanish and to use the music elements. And then it's the song is this metaphor of climbing a mountain and what that means for achieving one's goals. So I might shift from something like that experience to the afternoon teaching a group guitar class to doing this great thing that we call song bombs, where I have a group of students that come in and it's the end of the day and everyone's energy might be all over the place, and we sit down and we say, who shall we song bomb today? And we usually pick a faculty member and talk about what we love about them, like what does that relationship mean to each person in the room. And then we have like 30-minute window by the time we talk, a 30-minute window to create a song and make an audio recording that's really rough, and then just email it to the person that afternoon as kind of like, a nice little musical love note.
Yes.
So that's and then I might teach some adapted lessons here and there with individuals too.
And Ms. Kruse, could you tell us what you do in the day of the life? Like, you help patients write their songs. How would you get them involved and introduce yourself to them so that they'll feel comfortable? And what do you do making the songs?
Well, usually I'll go out into the clinic and see if there's a child that is interested in writing a song while they're waiting. Sometimes I'll set up a schedule, a time. Sometimes people might not be able to write a song while they're here for their visit, but they really want to write a song, so they'll schedule it for another visit. And then we just kind of go from there. It's always a little bit different. Every day is different. Yesterday I worked with a family who had actually lost a child, and the family wanted to write a song as a family. And so I spent the morning working with them. And then a little girl came in, and she was from Australia and had come all the way to Houston to come to the cancer center to see a specific doctor here for her particular cancer, which is, I think, rare. And so she was here just for a few days, and it turned out that she was a singer, and she had already written a song that one of the nurses wanted me to hear, so she came in and sang for me, and then she was interested in writing her own song, so she wrote a beautiful song. So it's always a little bit different, sometimes a child has to go back in another section of the cancer center, and maybe I'll go back and help them write lyrics first, and then when they're finished with their appointment, they'll come in, and maybe I'll start making a track before they get here. It's just always a little bit different.
Okay.
Well, unexpected.
Yeah.
Do either of you have a favorite memory of your work, like a favorite patient or song, something that sticks out in your head that you'll always remember?
Well, there was this kid, and he was just really into like haikus.
Come on.
Who could that be?
And there was this other kid, and he was like really into this pet fish. And then there was this beautiful, beautiful young girl who loved purple.
Oh, there's a connection.
And she had great sneakers that were purple. I've had incredible experiences. I would say every song that I've worked on has been its own special thing.
And unique.
It's really, really hard to
Compare them, I guess.
It is. Everyone has been unique and beautiful in its own way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree with Anita on that.
Okay.
Each of the sessions that I lead, I couldn't even pick out a favorite session, because even the most challenging days can be some of the most fruitful ones.
Right.
But yeah, every experience has been so unique and just special and awe-inspiring.
So when do you guys work? It's for some of these things. It sounds like it may be more like a routine kind of experience. Like at the Monarch Institute, I'm sure there's hours, and there's maybe Monday through Friday or something like that. While others sound like they might have to be more adaptive to specific needs. Like you had no idea the girl from Australia was coming, and I don't know if you had to stay later to do that.
Right.
Like,
So.
what do you guys normally do in terms of like hours?
Well, you're right. As far as my schedule goes at the Monarch School, I have set hours, which is great. And then within that, there's some flexibility too. That it's a school, so we have events and we have just things that come up that require flexibility, which also happens to be one of the things that we really encourage people to work on, is being flexible and adaptive. So yeah, I think within that framework though, the spontaneity happens. So that's why it feels so different. Even though I might be going to the same place at the same time each week, there's still so much spontaneity that occurs within that time frame.
We're going to end this with a song by Jessica and Angelica, and they were 17 and 18. The God in My Heart.
The God in my heart loves me so much. The God in my heart, I feel His touch. The God in my heart knows just what to do. He brings me joy and laughter too. What do you love? Who do you love? Where do you find it? Inside. The God in my heart loves me so much. The God in my heart, I feel His touch. The God in my heart knows just what to do. He brings me joy and laughter too. What do you love? Who do you love? Where do you find it? Inside. The God in my heart loves me so much. The God in my heart, I feel His touch. The God in my heart knows just what to do. He brings me joy and laughter too. The God in my heart.
Hello and welcome back to Purple Songs Can Fly on the Voice America Kids Network. I'm Dominic
I'm Zachary Tavlin.
And I'm Emily Freeman.
and we were interviewing Catherine Taylor and Miss Anita Kruse.
So I think we wanted to continue our conversation a little bit about kind of like hours and when we work. You had already answered it, Catherine, but Miss Anita has not answered this question. So what do your hours kind of look like?
Well, I am here in the Cancer Center every weekday, and I'm usually here every morning, so until after lunch. And then oftentimes the clinic isn't as busy in the afternoon, so there are more children here in the morning, so that's when I'm generally here. But oftentimes I'll stay later if there's another child that wants to write a song that comes in late.
Okay.
We also have been working on serving the inpatient children that are in the other part of the hospital. The 9th floor is
Yes.
the cancer floor
I'm familiar
that
with
you
that.
know about.
Yes.
And also BMT, which is the bone marrow transplant floor, is on the 8th floor. And so one of my goals and missions for the next couple of years is to fully serve the cancer center, which would be the clinic full-time, and also the 8th floor and the 9th floor of the West Tower.
Okay. And is this just Texas Children's Hospital, or okay?
This is just Texas Children's Hospital, and there are also many kind of sister hospitals and sort of satellite Texas Children's Hospitals, and we're if we decide to move beyond this location, it will be still connected to Texas Children's.
Okay.
There are several possibilities there. There also are programs that are starting in different parts of the world. So they're working on a clinic that's going to be opening in the next year or so in Africa.
That's wonderful.
So there are things that we'll be able to do to expand Purple Songs, but it will always be connected to Texas Children's.
And I also want to kind of start a little bit of a dialogue about what types of results you two see in integrating music with medicine or with personal growth at different levels. Because I think that the similarities and differences will be really interesting to talk about. So what kind of impact have you seen music and music therapy make in children's lives? Ms.
Oh
Taylor?
gosh. Well, on a really technical level, we specialize in things like motor skills and cognitive skills, right, and speech skills. But on a more personal level, I've seen more vitality in somebody within a very short time period, and without them necessarily being aware that that this shift in their energy is happening. And then with that, there's a strengthened connection too, so that they're not just this isolated person dealing with isolated issues, but somebody who's connected with community.
That's definitely an important thing to feel.
Yeah.
Do you see similar things working with Texas Children's Cancer Center?
Oh, yes. I mean, I think that it's really interesting to compare what Kate and I do, because this program, Purple Songs Can Fly, is a part of the Arts and Medicine program in the Cancer Center. And the philosophy of the Arts and Medicine program is to give the patients and their siblings creative experiences through the arts. So everything is geared to bringing in artists who share their particular gifts in different ways. So there are performances in the clinic just about every day. There are visual artists who come in and work with the children. There are just all kinds of sculptors. There are all kinds of artists that come in and work with the children to give them an arts experience as part of their time here in the clinic. So I am an artist who's created something that some people would say, well, isn't it music therapy? Well, it's possible that it's music therapy, but it's not the mission to necessarily be giving therapy. It is the mission to be giving a creative experience. If that ends up being therapeutic, then that's great. But that's it's a little bit different focus, and I would love for Kate to talk about, if Kate came to the studio and I said, I really just want you to write and record a song with a child, she might approach it totally differently than if I said, I want you to come in and work with this child as a music therapist. It might be a totally different experience, or it might be very similar, but I'd be interested to see how you think about that.
Yeah, I think in the process there might be a lot of similarities, and I believe that there's a therapeutic effect in every interaction that happens here after spending time here at the clinic. I think a big difference is that music therapists look at research and we formulate a whole treatment plan that's really specific and measurable, and we follow somebody, so we have to do a lot of documentation, which I'm not sure that that's something that comes, it sounds like Purple Songs is more of an expressive experience where a person might be followed, so to speak, as far as how they develop and grow, but it's not measured in the same way as music therapists measure the clinical outcomes.
Okay, so both different ways to approach it, but they both very important and related.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I definitely think so. And it's similar, when Kate said the vitality, you see the vitality immediately. I think this has been one of the things that has been interesting to the doctors here. For certain children who are very, very, let's say they might be depressed, they might be really down about what they're going through, they might be really inward and not really want to interact or express what they're going through. To see them create a song that accesses some deep part of them that they end up sharing with their family, I think, for me, I see music and creativity as a connection to our spirituality. Mm-hmm. And it really doesn't matter how you think about your spirituality or what you believe. I think we all can agree that we have some kind of spirit. Yeah. And so when children are ill, we want that spirit to be very, very much a part of it is a part of who they are, but that they're in touch with it, mm-hmm. so that they have more strength to deal with what they're going through. And maybe one of you can talk about this, because mm-hmm. you've all been through a lot here.
Yes.
And it'd be interesting to see how writing a song activated something, or how you think of it, since you're the recipients.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, from the time I first started receiving treatment, I was really, really kind of caught up in the energy of the space, which I perceive as like really negative, and I was really like scared, and I didn't want to be involved in anything, and so I would just play my video games on my little Game Boy and just like lock away from everything. And it actually took many, many tries of a volunteer asking me if I wanted to do something before I did anything. I remember it was at least 3 times where I was like, do you want to write a song? I'm like, nope, I do not want to write a song. I'm totally fine doing what I do. Right. And then I wrote a song. I actually wrote a poem, and then it became a song. And it had nothing to do with fear or treatment or anything like that. But because I had just like done something positive in this space, like my whole attitude towards the hospital changed, and it became a much more positive experience. Mm-hmm. That was a really pervasive kind of thing that, like, from that moment, it was a lot better going forward, just because I had positive experiences in the space and it wasn't a negative connotation.
Yes, and I still remember when I wrote my song with Miss Anita, and looking back, I know that it was a very important experience, a big step in my life, and I think it really did help to express some things, and it was a good step in treatment, because treatment can be exhausting, but Purple Songs Can Fly is very helpful to patients. And Emily, how about you? What was your song experience like?
Oh my goodness, it's just been a huge blessing. Working with the songwriters and just being able to express myself and share my thoughts, and it's just been great. I mean, I just can't say enough good things about the whole team. And
all right.
Yeah.
So the work that these two people do is amazing. So this has been Purple Songs Can Fly on Voice America Kids Network. We are interviewing Miss Anita Kruse and Miss Catherine Taylor. This has been Dominic,
Zack, Tavlin,
Emily Freeman.
And we're going to end this program with The World Prays by Rhea, who is 8 when she wrote this.
The rain drips into a puddle and I start to leap into the air. After it stops, all the flowers sprout. It's springtime. I tug the weeds while the squirrels march. To find acorns, the world prays. The world prays.
Thanks for listening to Purple Songs Can Fly. We'll see you again next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Kids channel. And remember, for more information about the Purple Songs Can Fly project, visit www.purplesongscanfly.org. We'll be back with more music next week.
Purple songs can fly.